Today, I'm going to interact with some comments made, somewhat thoughtlessly, by Neil Degrasse Tyson. Here we go.
I don't know if God exists.
But God does know that he exists.
Deeply religious people are certain he exists. He, or it. There are ardent atheists who are sure God does not exist. My posture is, particularly in the monotheistic traditions, that God is typically described as being all-knowing, all-powerful, and all good.
Stand by for the argument from evil, the problem of evil. That's what he's going to do. This is an old atheistic chestnut. It's been answered many times.
Yet I look back through history. In particular, there was I can choose many examples, but a famous example is the earthquake in Lisbon, Portugal. When was it? 1755, somewhere around there. 80,000 people died. By the way, that earthquake took place on All Saints' Day, in the morning, when most people, Lisbon, one of the holiest cities in Europe, most people were in church. Churches were the largest structures of the day. If you have an earthquake, what's the first building to collapse? It's the ones that are the largest, the most susceptible. So, people died in churches.
I'd like to die in church.
Then, there's a tsunami that basically wiped Lisbon off the map. Either God is not all good, if we define good as being in the interest of your health and longevity, that's a pretty simple definition.
Pretty simplistic definition. If you want to define good as that which is good for me, is that really what you want to do?
Something that's good for you. Or God is not all powerful.
Or he's the just God in heaven who looks down on this wicked world and dispenses with us according to his good pleasure.
But it's not clear whether God could be both of those at the same time for that event.
Well, it is clear that if he's not both of those, then there's nothing wrong with what happened to Lisbon. If the cosmos simply is, and this is there is no God, and the whole thing is just time and chance acting on matter, then all the people in Lisbon still died, and they died in the same way, and their death was absolutely meaningless, right?
So I take issue with what many people say God is. But there are other kinds of ways to think about God. There are enlightened religious people who would say...
No, enlightened religious people. Not like those endarkened ones.
God is the manifestation of the laws of physics in the universe. I don't have a...
Okay, suppose I'm that guy. Suppose I'm an enlightened religious figure, and God is the manifestation of all the natural laws of physics. Did that God destroy Lisbon? Who destroyed Lisbon? You can't dispense with the God of the Bible and somehow think that you've solved the problem of Lisbon. All those people still perished. The earthquake still happened. The churches still fell on people. The tsunami still came in and wiped them all out. Who did it? Was there anything wrong with that happening? Was there any problem with that happening? No, it's all part of the rhythm of life. If God is just the natural laws of physics, then what happened there had no more meaning than what happens when the wind blows over a meadow full of grass, or the foam off the waves that hit the rocks on the beach. It's just epiphenomena. It's just stuff that happens.
I don't have a problem with that.
Why not? Have you fixed Lisbon? Have you fixed the Lisbon problem? Is the destruction of Lisbon a good or a bad thing?
But is God the person who tells you who you should mate with and on what?
Yes. Make sure, if you're a guy, make sure it's a girl.
And what day you should eat what kind of food, and who, is that your God? That's different from this other one that maybe just sort of put the universe into place. So I don't really...
Who put the universe into place and does not care what happens to the inhabitants of Lisbon, right? Does this go, either there is no God and the whole thing is an impersonal thing grinding away and we get caught in the machinery. That's either he's saying that, or it's deism. God sets the whole universe up, sets it to moving, and does not care what happens to us down the road.
Concern myself much with it unless someone finds a way that any understanding of God can give me insight into making another discovery.
In other words, I'm cool with it if it benefits me in my vocation.